Hi, I'm Jess.
And I'm Beck, and we work with all kinds of business owners. We're business owners ourselves, and so we started this series to help you connect with other business owners and increase our tribe so that we can all be successful on our mission with our businesses.
Right, we are here welcoming Kimberly Lincoln to our show. Kimberly, can you please introduce yourself to our guests?
Certainly. Hey, everyone. This is Dr. Kimberly Lincoln. So my background a little bit is I have my PhD in bio and organic chemistry, formerly trained. So I did that in Fort Worth, Texas at TCU from 2010 to 2015. Prior to that, I did my undergrad in chemistry. So big nerd over here. And after I graduated with my PhD, I moved to Tucson, Arizona, where I am now. And I did a postdoc in another bio and organic lab for 1 year. So that journey kind of led me into my current business, which is GlauxChem, and it's a hemp skincare company. And in grad school, I was doing synthetic chemistry, which is like mixing things is what I'm good at. And I was exposed to, all these toxic chemicals like dichloromethane, chloroform, ether, which smells good, but it's not good for you. So they're very volatile organic solvents. So they just go into your skin because your skin loves fatty things, and they just pull things out. So I would get home after a day in the lab, and then I would look at my products, and I was like, oh, I don't want to use that, because I knew what it was, And it was reminiscent to some of the burns I would get when you buy some of the fancy products from the shelves, and you put it on your eyelids, and it like burns. You're like, what the heck? So I was like, I don't want to use this anymore. So that kind of just transformed into my business and learning about hemp. And then since living in Tucson, it's great here. We have the community. I love it. It's a great cannabis community. There's like a lot of hiking and outdoors and adventuring. So that's like my background in a nutshell.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And we're glad to have you on our show.
Thanks. Me too.
So how long have you been doing that? Like, give us a little bit of history. Like, why did you start? Like, what kind of got you into that?
Yeah. So when I was in grad school, I did my PhD in chemistry. And when I started grad school, I wanted to have like a research lab, and do all these things. But my boss, I was her first student, and I saw what you had to go through to like write the grants and do all this. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. And I never wanted to go into industry. And so I always wanted to have like a beauty company, and I always loved mixing things. My parents bought me my first chemistry set when I was 7, because I was like nerdy, always in the kitchen mixing things. And learned about hemp and cannabis, and then was talking to my friend one day, and he's like, so what do you want to do when you graduate? He's like, do you want to have a lab and teach? I was like, no. He's like, well, do you want to go into industry? And I was like, no. He's like, all that's left for you is entrepreneurship. And I was like, I guess so,
An accidental entrepreneur.
Yeah, it really was, for sure. So, yeah.
I think that actually happens to a lot of people. It's not, you don't grow up saying, I want to be, unless your parents are entrepreneurs, and you're like, that looks really good, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of us, it's just about like saying no to the traditional sense of doing things, and you kind of fall into it. That's really cool.
Yeah, thanks.
So like, let's keep going. My philosophy around business is there was always a little bit of entrepreneur in all of us, going back, even very young. So I'm curious, is this like the first entrepreneurial venture you've ever had, or did you have a sense of like trying to figure out how to make money or do something different when you were younger?
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't say I was like born with the entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, I like I said, I wanted to have a beauty company because I loved like colors and stuff like that, and I just thought it would be fun. And I was never like good at selling stuff, and never tried to sell stuff, and even then I'm like still like, skeptical about my sales ability and skills, which they're getting better. But no, I mean, really, I was just always so nerdy in the book all the time, and just thought I was going to be like a, medical doctor, stuff like that. I didn't have that bug, that intuition, but that grew into me, and I'm thankful.
Yeah, you're in a whole new world now. And I, as we worked together through a year of coaching, I saw you really struggle between what's required of me as an employee and what's required of me as an entrepreneur, and like feeling that struggle in between of like, what do I need to fulfill for this other company, and how do I prioritize for my own company? So can you share just a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, going back to college, I've always worked multiple jobs, right? So I was in school, I was working 2 jobs. So when I started my company, right, I mean, I was so broke, but I had to have a job and had to work. And so I was working a full-time job, trying to grow the business and then, an online store and do all this stuff. And it was just hard to even figure out like what to do, how to go about it. So that was the struggle for sure.
Yeah. So what do you think has contributed to your biggest success as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, a lot of things. Definitely taking the e-simplified, courses helped, the classes, obviously having the coach and, the networking events and just, meeting people, like just learning and just doing things. Like I love listening to the Gary Vee podcast because he's just like, stop making excuses and do it. And it's like, like you just have to do it. Like you have to stop worrying about what other people think and just do you, with the realm of your business and like representing your brand and stuff. So
Totally.
like you gotta get your brave on, as Jenna Rodriguez says. I love her.
No, that's awesome. And I really want to point out to the people watching this, like, hopefully you're taking notes because Kimberly just gave you guys 2 really big nuggets there when it comes to success. Number 1, you got to have help, right? I've paid a lot of money for coaching and mentoring over the last 18 years. I know Jess has also done quite a bit. So you've got to have someone else's eyeballs on your business. And then the second thing that you said that I love, and I wish I could just put like 50 exclamation points on it. You have to do something. Like you can't just plan to plan or be passive and hope that, like with your product, that someday someone's just going to call you and be like, I want to buy $1 billion of product. Like if you're not out there talking about it, if you're not doing, you actually won't know where to go, what to say, what to do next if you're actually not in action. So 2 huge nuggets there from you. So thank you. I would say also, like Jess asked you, what your biggest, what contributed to your biggest success. But we all know that business is up and down, right? Especially in the beginning, it's really just kind of poking and prodding. So, I mean, I want to be real and transparent. So what would you say, like, was one of your biggest failures and what did you learn from that in this journey?
Oh man, I've had a lot of failures. I mean, my biggest...
You're the only one.
Yeah. So I have to go back to our Kickstarter when we first launched. So when we were first launching the company, we're like, well, let's do a crowdfunding because we got nothing to lose, right? So we didn't like do good at promoting it, like anything like that. We barely had like an Instagram account. And so I'm like, placing my order for my packaging and I'm like, I'm going to order 10,000 boxes and 10,000 labels because everyone's going to love the product. And I had a lot of boxes and labels like chilling.
Oh,
so, and it was like, 10 grand on my credit card. It took me a year to pay off, it was like, so I would say not planning, just not being strategic about it, thinking way too big, like just being like jumping all in, like, yes, this is great. Like I love hemp and, like I know what it does, but that doesn't mean everyone else is going to be on.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just met a business yesterday that has a really awesome product for kids. It's so cool. And I would love to help her. And one of the things that she mentioned was she was looking at doing like Kickstarter or crowdfunding source. Since you've had experience with that, would you just speak to it a little bit? If you had to do it all over again and you still chose that as your platform for launch, could you just give us like 2 or 3 things that people like definitely need to know or have if they're going to choose that as a platform for launching?
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that there's a lot of platforms out there now. We chose Kickstarter just because it was like popular and stuff. I would suggest going with Indiegogo or something that if you don't hit your goal, you still get your money, right? Because we raised $3,000, but we didn't get any of it. So
wow.
I was like emailing people like, hey, would you still like to contribute your $27, whatever I could do. So that, and then get a really good video and then just get people, because it was like, if you have a test product, get testimonials, start growing your community, a year before and create offers that they can't refuse. Like, I was even like, oh, if you donate $1, I'll ride my bicycle a mile. Like, anything you can do, like, shout out their name, like record a video, like, anything you can do because they just want to see you like doing crazy things. I feel like,
yeah,
wow,
putting yourself out there. So
that engagement has been a very big proponent for you in expanding your business of like, when you have a product and you're so in that product development conversation all the time, like how do you come out of that product development to actually build a community? And then, and that's really where your work has been, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
in the kitchen, like making new products. I'm always thinking of new things, right? So it's like finding that balance of like, okay, well, you can't just create new products. You have to go sell the products you have.
Yeah. And so even while you've been out in the community and like developing new relationships, you're really, you're developing something very big that's bigger than just a product, right?
Yeah.
So what's that impact? What is that like impact that you want to be known for above and beyond hemp products?
Yeah. I think creating a company that's good for the planet and that's not putting toxic things in your bodies and in the planet, and, taking an alternative route and realizing that, all the traditional products that are, on the drugstore shelves are just so bad, and it doesn't need to be that way. So I just want to be known for like establishing that, taking care of yourself, like loving yourself, like, like you are worthy. So
yeah,
that's really what the brand is about,
Yeah.
That is so needed.
I heard a quote once that said, sometimes your wealth is tied to the level of service that you provide. So, making an impact like that would be awesome. And it would create a legacy, I think, too. And we're in such that time right now in the world where people are tired of like big pharma and pills and quick fixes. Like, we're realizing that just the environment, especially here in the United States, I've heard that we create, which is the go and do everything it takes and don't take care of yourself. I mean, the way that people take care of themselves in other countries in this world, like, blow us away. Like, we almost are like self-abusive on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So we totally want to promote a business like you, because we believe in that too. We use your products.
Yes.
And we use a lot of natural products. So I love it. Like, we definitely want to be on that path to helping you.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Kimberly, this month, our business, we're focused on sharing sales knowledge. So we put some stuff out there, and sales is different for everybody, because it's kind of like you have these things that you're supposed to be doing, and everyone here is like, it's a numbers game, and it's not really a numbers game, but sales are the thing that keeps you going, right? Sales are the confirmation that you're meeting a need in the market and that people like it and it's moving forward. So I would like to give you an opportunity to just, give us your thoughts on how the function of sales has worked in your business and how you just see it being a part of the business in general.
Well, yeah, to your point, it is like the crux of your business. So, I mean, sales comes in all shapes and sizes, right? You can do wholesale, you can do retail, you can, sell to, like, in my case, like small little shops and stuff like that. So it encompasses a whole lot. I definitely feel like I struggle with the sales, so I get better about it.
Yeah, well, talking to business owners, like, what's it really like for you when the sales aren't coming in?
Well, it definitely makes you feel defeated, and like you're just, oh, well, nobody likes my product, and like I shouldn't be doing this, and like, especially when I was first starting out, because it was like you literally do like a little happy dance, right, when you get an order.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, like,
and you take it so personal when someone says no.
Yeah, you do, right? And like, I mean, I feel like I definitely have that wall up and like fear of rejection, which you'd be like, no, you don't have that, but I definitely do, because my strong point is in my lab, like making things. So, just getting down from that wall and just like you have to fail to move forward. I'm okay with failing. I will be the first to admit I'm happy to fail, because I know that it's going to move me forward.
And I love it. That's awesome.
That's part of it for sure. So, but just get out there and just move forward,
Yeah. Cool. One of the things that I noticed about you as a real strength was when sales started to pitter, or when they weren't coming in as fast as you wanted to, you really came out of the kitchen. Like, you really decided to not focus so much on the product development, but really building that community. And there was a real shift in you as you started to develop those relationships with people in your community that are business owners. So can you talk a little bit about that opportunity that's opened up in sales, just by, separating yourself from the product a little bit and working more on that impact and the development of like moving toward natural products?
Yeah. So I'm a big believer that, if you are recognized as a brand authority, then that's kind of where you need to be. And a brand authority encompasses, education, community involvement, stuff like that. So like here in Tucson, like we have an amazing community. It's very versatile. They're very supportive. Like, it's nothing that I've ever, lived in before. I definitely have grown a strong appreciation for it. So since I quit my day job, I've been going to like farmers markets and stuff, and it's not really translating into so much profits per se, but the networking events that I'm going to, the people that I'm meeting, I am getting to, get my product out there to teach people about it, but I'm getting to meet people, get involved in the community. And I think that helps a lot. And another thing I did was I gave a talk, I volunteered myself to give a talk about, hemp oil versus CBD oil, because a lot of people don't understand the difference, right? And, which I do. And so I was like, I messaged this like brewery where there's always like these space draft talks, so like a very like, kind of nerd crowd, which is like my people. And I was like, this would be a great fit, and so, I made up like a presentation and like recorded myself, like you said, and then like 5 people showed up, which was sad, but you know what? It was okay, because like the one lady that got my product, she was about to undergo chemo for breast cancer. And she was going to have like radiation burns and stuff. And I was like, it just made my day that she could get the product.
Wow.
I taught them about, hemp and CBD, and everybody was happy. And they sat there asking me questions for like 20 minutes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Well, and then like there's the pay it forward, right? Like she had no idea and then was actually in that immediate need. And so now when everyone asks her what her experience was, that your product's going to come up, right? And I met Dr. Kimberly and she gave me it was awesome. So it's just a ripple effect just from being willing to be in action. So that's great. Awesome.
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed when we're in the product development component and not in the building relationships, we have a certain attachment to the sales of like really having those product sales be running. And when we step away from that a little bit and move into that community, it feels like I have less control. It feels like I can't control what's happening with the sales as well, because I feel like it's like not very specific, focused on my product. However, when you're not attached to that sale, you're not like super connected to that sale, and you're really just in the space of belonging and connecting and being authentic, that's when we find that the biggest opportunities open for sales.
Yeah.
Because if you were just sitting there in the kitchen, like cranking out your formulas, like you're doing a great thing. But like if the whole world around you can't connect with it, then it just sits and dies. So we have to find ways to spread apart and be like, here's my product development side, and I had to get that running. But there's this whole like, I have to create something that's then going to bring the sales into that product. And so it's so cool to see that development that's happening in the community. And we really want to connect you to other business owners. And so tell me a little bit about like the type of business owner that you're really connecting with now, where you guys have a shared client in common in this world of like health and wellness and non-pharma.
Yeah, so I've met, through a mutual friend, but my friend Jackie here, she owns a company called Gaia Provides, and it's a cannabis-based health and wellness company for people and pets. So she, makes all her own treats and stuff like that, and like, she's got it together. Like, I go to her booth, and I'm like, so she had like this big chalkboard, I was like, I'm gonna get me a chalkboard, like, it was nice. So I got the chalkboard, and like, I enjoy meeting entrepreneurs that are like way ahead of me, because like, I'm definitely weak in those parts, and I'm okay to admit it. And so like connecting with her has been really good. I have another girl, Tina, she does like baked goods. She's been like super sweet. She's like, when I get lost on the way to the farmer's market, she like directs me and stuff, and like just like connects me with a bunch of people. And like, it's good to have that community. So
for the business owners that are connected and like watching this, that like have those type of shops or could carry your type of products, how can they get in touch with you? Like, what would you like to offer them? Like, that would maybe be a good connection for you guys to collaborate, working together.
Yes. I mean, I have a few, definitely, any like medical marijuana, owner of a store. I did a pop-up at one of those events, and I had a lot of great feedback from the people. I actually had 5 people request to the company to put my product in their store.
Nice. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, is connecting with companies.
Yeah, just dispensaries, medical, where you go get your medical cards if you're in a medical state.
Okay.
And then barbershops. I just went around to like 5 or 6 different barbershops this week for, like after shaving, like your hair and stuff like that. So beauty and like skin treatments. So estheticians, people that come in seeking pigmentation corrections. Everyone's like, bleach your skin and all. That's like freaks me out. Don't bleach your skin, just add pigments and let's, balance the correction naturally. There's an owner I met that they use light, like he's a physicist and he uses like different light and wavelengths to do like skin treatments, which I was like, he was excited because he's like, I need a chemist. I was like, well, I have this product. So stuff like that, like skin-based treatments and like health and wellness, and definitely valuing what you put in your body. Like that's my one,
All right.
There.
And how can they connect with you?
Yeah, so we're on like Instagram, we're on Facebook at GlauxChem, and then you can email us at oils@GlauxChem. It's GLAUX.com. And then you can shoot me a message on all the social media. I'm the one-woman show right now, so I'm always responding.
That's very awesome.
Cool.
Would you be willing to provide any training for their customers? They were really looking for like that doctor to be able to explain the difference between CBD and hemp products. Do you think that you could offer some training as well?
Oh yeah, I'm always happy to give a talk. So when I was in grad school, I was always giving talks everywhere. So I'm actually comfortable giving talks in front of people. I don't get nervous at all. So it's just good. So
education is everything, because people don't understand it, and when you can get someone to understand it, then they can actually be educated enough to make a decision on their own and become a really good, loyal customer. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I'll be giving a talk here at a dispensary, so about hemp and CBD. So yeah, I'm always up for that for sure.
Great. Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to spend with us today and connecting and really introducing yourself to our audience. And you're the reason why we want to grow a big community, and we love that you're part of our community. So thanks so much for
Well, thank you, Jess and Beck. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks so much.